Welcome in to the CHGO Bears After Dark Thursday Night Extraordinaire, being streamed live on YouTube and also on the Real Housewives of Salt Lake City's Instagram right now. To Seth Marks.
We are live while he is live. Live on live action.
We are brought to you passionately, lovingly, by DraftKings Sportsbook, America's top-rated sportsbook. Download the app and use that promo code CHGO when you sign up. Huge show tonight. Huge show.
Whoop, whoop.
The longest tenured Chicago Bear in the history of the Chicago Bears. I had a conversation with him yesterday. Do you know who I'm talking about, Greg Braggs?
Yes, I do. That is one Patrick Mannelly.
245 games over 16 seasons in a Bears uniform. Yes, Seth.
I'm here for a fun fact. Quick fun fact. People don't know this about me, but I know a lot of shit about sports. Duke University. Ask me where any fucking Chicago sports player went to college.
You're right.
And I will tell you where they went.
That's
because I know shit that doesn't matter.
No, that actually does matter, and it's interesting because Patrick Mannelly has the Patrick Mannelly Long Snapper Award, and he was working with. That's a bad job by me, but he was an awesome interview, and we're going to play some snippets here.
How many years was it? How many years did he play for the Bears?
16 years.
16 years.
He's shining light on the long snappers in college now. They're giving out an award, the Patrick Mannelly Award.
Wow.
My guys over at Bernie's Book Bank. That'll be on Saturday, where they announce a winner for the long snappers.
And my apologies, he's working with Zebra Technologies, so they hooked up the interview, so that's what I was searching for there.
Zebra Technologies, they do like retail
big outfit,
printing, and
big outfit,
all
big
sorts
outfit.
of stuff.
Yeah. So listen, he was with the Bears from 1998, through the Super Bowl run, all the way into the Mark Trestman years, okay?
Yep.
So there's a lot of ground to cover here.
Through a lot of this stuff.
A lot of ground to cover. Now, if you go back...
I'm pretty sure he was captain at the Super Bowl.
Okay. I did not cover that ground. I would not go against you.
Yeah.
By the way...
When they flipped the coin for the Super Bowl, Patrick Mannelly was standing out there.
That's a beautiful thing, all right? And so, do you remember who the quarterback was when the Bears lost to the Indianapolis Colts in Miami on a rainy Sunday night when Devin Hester ran it?
Yes.
Who was it?
Grossman.
Right. And do you
Sexy Rexy.
Right. And do you
University of Florida, by the way.
And do you remember who his backup was?
Yes.
Who was his backup?
Give me. Do you have Jeopardy music? Yeah, I do remember, because when you're the Bears, the everyone's favorite player when you grow up as a Bears fan, Bob Evelini, he had a 10-foot weenie and he showed it to the next.
Yeah,
right?
Yep.
Like when you grow up as a Bears fan, the favorite player is the backup fucking quarterback every fucking time, because the Bears quarterbacks suck.
Yeah, the most popular.
So
that's the old adage. The most popular player is the backup quarterback.
Matthew Gregory, I see you feisty in the comments right now. Just engaged. Love you. Do you remember who the backup quarterback is? Do you remember, Brad?
Of course. Spoiler up. Kyle Orton.
Nope, that's not true. That's not true. That's not true.
Give me a hint. Give me a hint.
That's not true.
Give me a hint. Give me the college.
What?
Do you know the college?
Yes, I believe I do. I think you went to Michigan.
No way.
Kyle Orton was third string on the 06 Bears.
Who? Give me an initial, like one initial.
B and G.
Oh,
well, Brian. I mean, it's in the chat.
Brian Greasy.
That shocks me. I honestly don't remember that he was on the Super Bowl Bears.
Right.
That's crazy.
Now, right. So I'm putting a piece, by the way, out at all CHGO in the next 24 hours, 10 hours, something like that. That is going to chronologize, just recap the whole thing that happened. Shout out to Cap. Do you remember who the starting quarterback was in 2005?
Well, it was Kyle Orton.
That's correct.
Because the reason I remember is when Rex Grossman took over for Kyle Orton, it was in the Atlanta Falcons primetime game against Michael Vick and the Falcons. And Rex comes in, they go to a commercial break, all of a sudden Rex Grossman is warming up, And in the middle of the game, because Kyle wasn't playing well, Brian Urlacher's having one of his epic Hall of Fame-esque games, and Rex Grossman throws an 18-yard pass. I'll never forget it, 18 yards. And the whole stadium erupted as if we had never seen a first down thrown in our lives on a pass, not a run. It was you would have thought the Messiah had come into Soldier Field that night.
Well, and yes,
the bar is not high for the Chicago Bear quarterbacking position, number one. And really, it's always been about just game management. Like, we've never had a playmaking quarterback. It's always like please just don't fuck it up.
Which is exactly what Kyle Orton did. In 05, no, he did the opposite. In 05, the Chicago Bears won. He was an outstanding. Outstanding's too tall, but he was at
that point he was just a game manager. I mean, he became an outstanding game manager.
I wouldn't even say he wasn't right. He wasn't even a game manager.
So he was outstandingly average.
He was even below that, but he did not. They won 8 games in a row that year with Kyle Orton at quarterback. Rex Grossman never did that, and neither did any other Bears quarterback for that matter. And you got to go all the way back to Jim McMahon when the Bears started 12-0 in 1985 and won the damn Super Bowl. Orton won 8 games in a row. Grossman had broken his ankle in training camp in a game against the Rams.
Yep.
Orton comes in. No one expects him to do anything. They end up 11-5. They end up in the playoffs. Rex gets healthy by the end of the year. Orton had beaten the Carolina Panthers, by the way, in the regular season. Now it's like 13-3. It was a 13-3 win. He didn't do anything spectacular. I looked up the stats. He was 15 for 26, but they won the game.
2 pick sixes that day.
Okay, and then is that right? 2 in 13-point game.
Well, at least 1 then.
Okay.
Sorry, it's been a while.
Yeah, I understand.
But
my point. So hold on.
Where are we going with Kyle Orton?
I'm telling you where we're going. So this is a long way to a long way. But the point is that Rex got healthy. They put him in there. He stunk up the joint. They lost to the Panthers. The next season he starts Rex. He has up and down season, had some great moments. Also had 5 games where he had 3 picks or more. They end up in the damn ass Super Bowl.
It's like a fucking Chet Kopic introduction right now.
It is.
Please say, is he here? Ladies and gentlemen, please meet fucking Kyle Orton.
So please meet actually Patrick Mannelly, because you got to the Super Bowl. You're in the Super Bowl. Rex throws 2 interceptions. You lose the Super Bowl. Hey, Patrick Mannelly, do you think that you would have a Super Bowl ring on your finger if Kyle Orton had been the quarterback? I always liked Kyle Orton, Patrick. So if he's the QB in 2006, what's the chance you win the Super Bowl?
Oh, man, that's tough. I was just texting with Rex Grossman today.
No
weird
offense.
I was. No, it's weird I was. No, it's no offense. I don't know. That's a great question. I think Kyle brought the team closer together. It's a bad thing to say, a better teammate. Rex is a good guy and a good guy, but everybody rallied around Kyle Orton. But could Kyle have done what Rex did, the first 11, 12 games? I mean, he was in the MVP conversation of what his numbers were. If you go back and look, we were 11-0 or 10-0. Could we have done that? I don't know. So he helped us set up our success. Man, Mark, this is a hard question. 2 good friends, but all right, let's put it this way. Would Super Bowl Sunday have turned out differently? Probably. I think it probably will. You wouldn't have had the same turnovers. I don't think Kyle would have turned the ball over as many times as Rex did on Super Bowl Sunday. How's that answer for you?
I love that answer, and
is it politically correct enough and whatever?
No, I don't think
both guys.
I think we just got a little bit of a good clip there, to be honest. And I would also throw in, did you think, because all of Chicago didn't think it, I was like the one guy raised my hand like, hey, second, I like Kyle Orton. We don't need to be trading into Denver for Cutler. Like I was on the Orton trade, and everyone was screaming at me at the time. I'm like, dude, this guy is solid, not spectacular, but solid. Yes. Did you think at the time that might have been a mistake?
I got a little caught up and Kyle's one of my best friends. And I got caught up a little bit in the Jay Cutler hype as well. I mean, you saw what he had done in Denver. You saw some of the numbers. You saw his arm. You knew he's a little bit more of a veteran. We were becoming more of a veteran team. And when he got to Hallis Hall in our first couple practices, I remember standing next to Dave Tobe, our special teams coach. And Jay made some throws, and we just said, holy wow, we don't see that around here ever. But there's some other intangibles with Jay that just didn't work out and didn't reach the potential I think we all were wanting. But if you look back on it, Kyle might have fit that locker room better just because of who he was and how dominant our defense was and how he would take care of the ball, and we could still run the ball. And the game's changed now, but back then that might have been a better fit. But I understand what Jerry Angelo did. He was the new shiny toy, had the big arm, kind of youngish, but had a couple years and needed to get out of there. And it is what it is. But too many quarterbacks to play with, Mark.
Let's do it live.
So there it is. We would have won the Super Bowl with Kyle Orton. Damn it, Mannelly agrees. You would be a Super Bowl champion Bears fan because Seth and I both have rings. We were there, 85. You do not.
I don't know if, with Patrick's, old age now. I'm kidding. Yeah, I'll see Patrick on Saturday, so I'm sure he'll kick my ass for saying that. But I don't know if he's kind of having like revisionist history here. But Rex Grossman, through all his faults, he won Player of the Month in September that year.
Well, Player of the month in September?
That was part of the reason they had a bye. They had a bye. I respect his opinion, but I'm just saying at the same time, they got to the Super Bowl with Rex Grossman. If you recall, in the Seattle Seahawks game to win the divisional round of the playoffs against the Seahawks, he made some big-time throws. In the Saints game, in the NFC Championship, while the snow came down in the fourth quarter, they beat the brakes off the New Orleans Saints, who were the national favorites coming off. There was a Hurricane Katrina. They were the feel-good story of the year. They had all this momentum, and they came to Chicago, and Rex Grossman had a good day that day throwing to Bernard Berrien and company. So while he had a lull during the season, he is part of the reason they got to the Super Bowl and why they lost the Super Bowl. Yes, Rex Grossman had the infamous interception to Kelvin Hayden, pick six going the other way.
56 yards going the other way and a horrendous pass.
That was on the coaches.
What do you mean?
Because they needed to run the ball. If you remember what happened in the sequence of events, it was 22-17, and they had gotten to midfield off a Rex Grossman first down pass because at that time they were struggling to throw the ball because Rex was limited. They get to they get to midfield.
How come nobody ever talks about this game enough? It should
be.
They
get to midfield,
it never even
and
happened.
They don't run the ball, and he throws an interception, pick six, going the other way. When you had Thomas Jones, who wanted to give his life for this team, and I've talked to Thomas Jones personally about this moment. I have, and Thomas Jones begged the Chicago Bears and Lovie Smith and Ron Turner to feed him the damn ball. And instead, they rotated him in and out with Cedric Benson. I believe Cedric had a fumble in that game, if I'm not mistaken, to the chat. If they had just let Thomas Jones eat
Grossman had a fumble
day,
too. Yep.
They win the game. And instead, they wanted to get cute. And you know what? This is against Peyton Manning and the Indianapolis Colts. They should have killed us. And instead,
we picked them off.
The Bears had a return to the house, the greatest moment in my Chicago Bears fandom lifetime, to the house to start the game, an interception to start the game. And they screwed around with Cedric Benson, and, God rest his soul, but at the same time, Thomas Jones deserved that game. He was the heart and soul of that team. And it was, yes, Rex Grossman was limited as a quarterback, so was Kyle Orton, but it was because they didn't run the ball with Thomas Jones that they didn't win that game. It's not about the quarterback in that game. That's why we didn't win the Super Bowl. And you know what? I had just turned 21 that day, so I was fairly inebriated for that game, but I'll still never forget those facts.
Jack Silverstein's very mad at you on Twitter, by the way, that you just went with Orton and did not know the greasy from rewinding back the
I can't believe, honestly, it shocks me. I remember him the next year, but it shocks me that he was on the 2006 team.
I think a guy by the name, maybe wearing number 16 in that royal blue Colts jersey, might have had something to do with it. I don't care if you had the great
Peyton Manning?
Yeah. He might have had something to do with it. The weather, we fell apart.
He was number 18, right?
18, correct.
But he had 18. As many touchdowns as touchdown passes as Rex Grossman had in that game.
We picked him off.
He was so surgical.
The running backs were the
Bears got turnover. They should have won the game. The Bears got turnovers. They picked off Peyton. They ran.
You're throwing deep in a typhoon.
The only touchdown Peyton Manning had was on a broken coverage play by Daniel Manning.
By the way, I enjoy the fact that we're talking about
Thank you for bringing this up again, Mark.
I think it's
bringing this back into my memory.
I think it's good for everybody. But so, okay.
It's like a therapy session. Like the past, something that, like, I don't know. Are we going history on this whole show? Because, like,
we can if you want.
A lot of therapy, marriage counseling, and, like, the thing that fucks my head up the most is when I go backwards.
Yeah.
So, like, a game like that is traumatizing. I was physically at the game with my oldest son, and it was the biggest waste of money I've ever spent.
One day I will get Thomas Jones to come on the show. You and Adam can interview him, Mark, and he will tell you that if they had just fed him the ball and let Cedric live to play another year.
You could pull Thomas Jones. Let's get that going.
Pull Thomas Jones. I told you, we're friends.
Every player says that shit.
We're friends.
If they would have just given me the ball, like you're drinking the Thomas Jones Kool-Aid. If you had a unbiased group of NFL experts, that they would say if you would just given Thomas Jones the ball, the Bears would have won that Super Bowl.
They might have.
Zero chance of anybody agreeing with that.
I'm not 100%.
Well, I don't care about anybody. We're the experts here.
I got a couple more Mannelly cuts that we may play in this hour 20 show, but let me first tell you, Seth.
50.
I love the show. I could sit here all night. What else do we have to do? I know you have a life over there, Braggs, but me and Seth are going to dinner after this, and like seriously, what do we have to do? Are you all right?
We're just gonna have the same conversation without microphones.
Right, exactly.
We'll be on Instagram Live.
Right.
Greenridge Farm, my favorite. The Chicago local meat and cheese company offer you the better all natural option. You got to live it. You got to love it. You got to eat it. You got to make yourself just a healthy, happy person. 16 grams of protein in each meat stick. I mean, come on. Chicken, Black Forest beef, jalapeno cheddar, my gosh. Spicy chili. Come on, get involved. Chet, we love you. Come on back. We miss you, buddy. All natural deli meat. Bigsby and Crothers, sausages, and their famous meat sticks. GreenridgeFarm.com is the website. Simply natural meat. Right now, when you order any 3 meat products at GreenridgeFarm.com, include a pack of meat sticks in your cart. Those meat sticks, yeah, you know it. They're coming to you for free. Use the code CHGO at checkout. Great way to support us over here and great way to eat healthy, eat deliciously. Greenridge Farm. Look for them, by the way, in your refrigerated section at the grocery store, Costco, wherever you go. Greenridge Farm is there. Can I tell you? Yeah. Can I tell you?
Greenridge Farm you need to triple charge them on the invoice. That's one of the greatest. I mean, I'm obsessed with Greenridge Farms right now.
We got to go.
Unbelievable.
They're so good.
Great read.
Thank you very much. Thank you very much. All right. I got a couple of Larry David moments that have happened to me in the last couple of days.
That story was hilarious.
So he doesn't know it, and I'm assuming that the chat doesn't know. Steven doesn't necessarily know.
Some of the chat probably knows.
But I have another one too that just happened yesterday.
Oh my god.
So Seth, real fast.
What old man did you push down now?
Okay. So Wednesday night, I invited you. By the way, I invited my guy here who doesn't live here, and
I just want to say, because I want to give a shout out. I came in for a friend, unfortunate passing, older mentor. You guys know him. When you do the math, you choose McGrath. Mike McGrath, one of the great auto dealer, philanthropic, unbelievable human being, passed away, and he's part of the fabric of this city. And I came in for that and reached out to you because my relationship with you goes so far, and I love you, man, and appreciate you inviting me here tonight. And I'm dedicating my presence here tonight to Mike McGrath.
That's a beautiful sentiment. And the very fabric of Chicago. When you do the math, you choose McGrath.
When you do the math, you choose McGrath.
Yes, right. Oliver Sholem.
I mean, and R.I.P. And I'm Bob Rohrman. You're in there too, buddy.
We should do at dinner, we'll do it off air. Your starting 5 Chicago auto dealers. Mike McGrath is my point guard.
That's Rohrman, Eagle Man,
Mike Muller
Empire, 988-2300.
We got to throw in there if we're doing all. I mean, Victory Auto Wreckers, you're in the team photo somewhere.
Rob Patter at Evanston Nissan is underrated.
Underrated car people, or overrated, or just people that you think of.
Wild Cadillac.
Throw it in the chat. Who influenced your childhood? Who do you still think of today? Yeah. Okay. So, at any rate, I invited you. I tried to go see Michelle Obama at the Chicago Theater the other night. So I walked over there at like 1 o'clock in the afternoon, Chicago Theater. Two stories. Braggs, thanks for sitting through this one more time. But so I walked. So I walk over to the Chicago
Give
Theater.
him the Cliff Notes.
I asked the guy at the Chicago Theater, hey, any extras being released today? And he's like, not now, but maybe if you come by before the show, you got a shot. But he wasn't really optimistic about it. So I get over there, 7:30, shows at 8. Good job. That's my move at this time of the show always. So I get over there, 7:30, jam-packed, huge scene outside State Street, Chicago Avenue, the whole thing. I mean, the lights, Chicago Theater, the whole thing. And I'm like, what am I doing here? I'm never getting in. But so I go through the line, check out the clientele. Very, lot of women loving at the Chicago Theater.
You were going to get a walk-up ticket.
For
Michelle Obama
right
at the Chicago Theater.
Chicago Theater. I go through the metal detector. Go back up to the guy. Hey, I'm so scared about this. The guy who's got the tickets got so much power. Your life is going to change if you get in. If you don't get in, I was just so meek. I'm like, any tickets left there, sir? No, get out of here. I'm like, okay. So he tells me no, but it's 7:40 now, 7:50, whatever it is. Show's going to start in the next 20 minutes. So I'm sitting there in the lobby watching people go in, and I'm debating. Perhaps I'm going to sneak in underneath the airport, whatever, and I'm trying to figure out a strategy. And as I'm doing this, I'm thinking to myself, don't do it, Carm. Your integrity is more important than sneaking into the thing. I'm looking on our Game Time Tickets app. Love my people at Game Time Tickets. Try to get in. Expensive seats, like $236. So I'm like, am I going to pay $230 to see Obama? I want to see it, but I'm not all in on a $236 look. So I'm hanging out. And then and they're like 5 minutes to showtime. And I'm like, I probably should get out of here. Bragg's already heard the story, not even listening to me. I hate it. But so that's fine. So then all of a sudden, just to my
you and me. I'm in this moment with you.
So all of a sudden, I hear this huge thud, and I look to my left, and this older gentleman, like close to 80 years old, he has fallen. And he cracked his head on the hard marble floor. Horrible scene. Horrid.
Oh my!
And I'm like, oh my God, like the stomach, the whole thing. I'm like, and so like security's coming in, and so I'm telling him, I'm like, dude, this guy hit his head hard. And then his wife, who had already been in, I think she was like getting drinks or buying a T-shirt or whatever she was doing. She comes back running, and she's standing over him. She's looking at her husband on the floor, and they start lifting him up. And there's a huge puddle on the floor because I think he lost control of his bodily functions when he hit the whole thing. The guy's trying to say he's okay. They put him on the wheelchair, and then I see they're gonna take him out, and that's when the Larry David moment happened because I'm like, they're not using their tickets. I was like, I wanted to ask him, like, any chance that I could perhaps?
No, you did not. No, you did not. You did not. You did not. I will get up and leave this show. The older I get, I have no tolerance for assholes. Zero.
Well, I mean, but
it's okay to think like an asshole, but if you action the asshole behavior, we are done.
Yeah. So
you thought like an asshole.
I just thought like an asshole,
Yeah.
And so, but I mean, I was thinking like, they're leaving. Maybe it could have been like they perhaps have an expensive emergency bill now. I could soften the blow with $100 for the two.
Maybe I throw through it right now, but
maybe I throw the single. I only need one ticket. I throw the other single back up on Game Time Tickets. Now I make a couple dollars on it. So, I mean, all of this is going through.
You're the guy that goes to Holy Name
It appears
Cathedral,
there's two seats opening up here.
Oh, sorry about the passing of your husband. Can I have your phone number? You're that guy. You look great tonight. So sorry about your loss.
Carm, honest to God, the same thing happened to me. I was out in Oak Brook last week at dinner. Nice restaurant, Italian place. And same thing happens. Old guy by himself collapses on the floor. He's fine. He's okay.
You left a steak?
He had a whole pizza and a big salad just sitting there. I'm like, someone's got to eat that thing. Come on now. What are we doing here? I'm like, he's just going to leave it there? I mean, yeah.
It's part of the ecosystem, but that's part of the ecosystem. Someone's got to eat. We're living in a sustainable environmental world. I respect that move. Someone walks away, has an issue, can't consume the food. Yes, I get that. But sliding into the guy who almost died's tickets and asking them where they're going, that's not a sustainable move.
I just wanted to know if it was a lower. I mean,
it's not socially responsible. It's not sustainable. It's not environmental. It's pure asshole.
Yeah, but the seat's open. I don't think it's that bad of a move. By the way, he had. What was he had main floor? I wanted to know main floor balcony. Where location, please. So we let him go. He left. I went back to the guy. I went back to the ticket window as right before I'm gonna leave. Imagine if he had like fifth row. This guy looked well-to-do. Could have had a good seat. But so I went back to the ticket window and I was like, I tried to said to the ticket guy, I'm like that I went for a little bit of the sympathy. This guy just went down strategy. I'm like that was terrible. I'm assuming that no tickets are coming open. And at that point, I think the guilt hit him, and bang, he's going through the computer. He's like, I got one seat in the auxiliary for you. Hooked me up. I got last row, underneath the thing. If you've ever been there, and I hung out, and it was a great show.
How much was it?
$100. 99 something.
And what was it? What was the takeaway from Michelle Obama? Did you come away inspired? Did you come away educated? Did you come away enlightened? Did you come away with a Woody? What did you come away with?
Probably all of the above. But everybody looked great in there. It was a good scene, and she. What was
the takeaway?
She talked a lot about marriage, which will be interesting for. Well, we got three. Yeah. But she said she
no, seriously, I'm okay. I'm okay.
She said there was literally, she's like, young people today, they want the ceremony, they want the dress. She did a lot of that, but the actual marriage, she's like, I've been with Barack for 30 years, and I would tell you that that we've had probably 23 good ones and 7 bad. And she's like, and I will take that ratio all day. And she talked about how challenging it was with kids, and she talked about their story. It was super interesting, and she's like, it was
23-7.
She's like the 23-7.
You got to buy in the first round. Right. It's a fucking great marriage.
Right. 23-7. Yeah. I think so.
I'm Mendoza. I'm 50-50. It's oof.
And her other big message was basically empathy. She's like, look, the people that are running around the streets that everybody is, correctly scared of. He's like, those people, when you go to the root of it, if they don't get seen as a kid, they're going to find a way to get seen at some point in their life. That's what's going on there. She's like, and I had the same thoughts when they stormed the Capitol. Of course, my initial reaction is was utter terror, and this is bullshit. And I was so angry at these people, but it's they're the same people that they're there. They have somebody is not seeing them somewhere. So her big message was basically empathy for everyone, and it was inspiring, man. So
yeah, got to learn to coexist.
Yeah,
and marriage is important. I got a good wife. So
you do. You've done well.
Got a good wife. That's how it works.
It's important, and it's work.
Because I can imagine for her, supporting him and not knowing where he's going to go, and then all of a sudden becomes president. Same thing. It's like my wife, she's put up with a lot of shit with me. and before you know it, now here I am having fun. And I would have not been sitting here bullshitting with Seth and Mark and, embarrassing Adam Hogue and things like that if she hadn't supported me. So, marriage isn't for everyone. I'm not going to push that on everyone. But at the same time, if you can find the right one, they can empower you in a way that you don't realize. So, it definitely is important.
Question.
That's my message for the day. I did see somebody in the chat said Meredith's husband is here. So
yes,
somebody's a fan.
Wow. It's kind of when you're known as somebody's side piece.
That's how people view me, so it's all good. Jenny's husband.
I'm like the guy that runs and gets the tea after
Jenny's
the kickoff.
idiot.
I go around and grab it. There's the guy, he's a little friggin' rodeo clown. Being a husband on fucking Housewives is you literally have to embrace the suck. It's you either, and it has worked against me more than it has for me because I don't have much of a filter and you got cameras on.
It's like the old Cubs motto, try not to suck.
Yeah. No, I used to embrace the suck, and it's man versus liquor. All right, there's liquor available. They want you to get sauced up, right? That's highly encouraged. And then it's also man versus not react. Like you react and you create great content. If you respond and you're more thoughtful, then you're boring as fuck.
Right. No, exactly. They want, right.
So I'm just reacting. I'm purposely reacting like a frat boy.
It's kind of like when my dad tried out for Wheel of Fortune and got every puzzle right, and they're like, "Yeah, no, sir, get out of here. We have no interest in you."
Yeah, Mark,
you're the least entertaining person of all time.
Because Mark, I mean, I know that you've had Seth on before, but there's some people in the chat like Ravi saying, "I thought the guy in the middle was from Siegfried," but at the same time, some people in here don't know
that's awesome,
our man in the middle is, and you're from Bravo TV network, correct?
My wife is. I just tag along. Yeah.
Did I not properly introduce? If
you
I
didn't,
did,
really.
That's my bad.
You just kind of expected everyone to know.
My bad.
I mean, everyone knows me as the jackass, but not everyone knows Seth.
I'm the Siegfried and Roy doppelganger. It's unbelievable. What the hell? Those guys are like 100, right? And one almost got eaten alive and is barely alive, right? Ravi? Come on, man. What the fuck?
The chat's much harder on me and Mark, so
Robbie,
you got it easy.
Seriously. What? Unless you're saying I look like I'm from the 80s when they were at the Mirage, I'm okay with that. But if
that's
I'm
what he's saying.
Current Siegfried and Roy,
that's what he's saying.
Woo, Robbie, I gotta go. I'm calling my therapist. Thanks, Robbie.
Siegfried and Roy. Prime Siegfried.
Prime. Oh, yeah. Prime. Thank you.
There it is.
Robbie.
There it is. Hey, shout out, by the way, as I was talking about our friends at Game Time Tickets. Where's my phone? Did I bring my phone out here? Did I not? It's got to be here somewhere. I love looking up the Game Time app, but that's okay. I don't need it in front of me right now. 15 million people have downloaded the Game Time app. Concerts, shows, whatever you need. Yeah, it's over there. Thanks, Steven. I appreciate it. You can toss that to me because I love. Why don't we got it? It's part of my deal. We gotta check out what's going on. Thank you.
Steven.
Steven's killing it. Always is.
Steve.
Huge.
Jesus, Steven.
Huge freaking help.
I need your workout routine. Seriously. Can you come back? You're freaking, what do you call it? What does your generation call a guy like that? Is that like yoke? What is it?
Yoked. Yeah, yoked.
We say that too, yeah.
Yoked.
Appreciate that.
Underrated, dude.
Yeah, no, he's doing a good job. All right, so if you want to go Blackhawks Winnipeg Jets tomorrow night, Game Time app, outstanding seat. 17th row behind the net, cheapest to get in. You could take a date for two of you tomorrow for under $100, $98 to a Blackhawks Friday night game with Winnipeg. Game Time tickets is the place to do it. You will not get a better price on the secondary market than Game Time tickets. Did you hear me? There's no better price on the secondary market than Game Time tickets. That's a huge deal. And if you love Game Time, best way to support us, buying your tickets through the link in the description. Not just Hawks games, Bulls games, any sporting event, concert, shows. Michelle Obama. I was checking it out the other night.
Blackhawk games are like oysters. It is an aphrodisiac for women. It really is. It is your conversion rate. If you take a woman to a Blackhawks game and you have good seats, you're gonna, that night ends really happy. More than if you take her to any other Chicago sporting events. How's that? If you're gonna take a woman and you got her on a first date, and this is now in the current environment without Jordan. When you had Jordan, first date I ever had with my wife was a blind date, and I took her to the Bulls game when Michael Jordan was playing.
Marriage.
Right, which led to marriage, but I couldn't get her to go to a Bulls game with this shitty team. But Blackhawks, though, that whole environment.
I love this Bulls team.
What's to love about it? My point is, though, taking a date to a Blackhawks game, works every time.
Okay.
Works every time.
It is nonstop action. I like going to the Hawks games. I love going to the Bulls games. I was there last night.
How do you get the tickets?
Game Time tickets. There you go, brother. Thank you. Appreciate it. Speaking of... and Seth, I don't know if you saw that comment by Casey. I just want to say that I appreciate all three of you gray-haired guys showing it. How old are each of you? Just curious, Casey.
Guess.
Yeah,
Casey, guess, please.
Casey, I'm not outing myself on the fact that I'm 40-something years old. I'll say it
40-something.
40-something.
I know, because early he gave me this homework assignment that we're eventually going to talk about, I'm assuming. And he says, Greg, he goes, keep it. You're going to be the guy that keeps us current of the players. And I go, does Carm realize that I'm 37 years old? Like, I'm not young. I mean, I'm not old. I mean, I don't know about the Antique Roadshow going on the far right, but at the same time, I'm not a spring chicken either. I'm 37, so
you got a decade roughly younger.
Roughly. We're getting closer.
Yeah. But so last night I'm at the Bulls game. Good win over the Wizards, and to be completely honest, I did not know. Because I'm so dialed in on the Bears, that Taj Gibson, the former Bull, is playing for the Washington Wizards.
What?
Didn't know it. So,
Come on. How old is Taj Gibson?
That's a good question. Taj has got to be...
Over under 36.
I think he's
over. Are you taking the over or the under?
Oh, over.
Over under 36. You got it.
I think he's 38.
Over under, Steve. 36.
I'm gonna go at. We're going right on the number.
Oh, you're going right on the number. You're like like playing the green on roulette.
Yeah. It's a great guess, and you're wrong. 37, Taji.
Ooh, wow.
My age.
So I'm I
like
get
the modern day Robert Parrish.
Yeah, he was. I think he was 42 when he got to the Bulls. But regardless,
that much
Tom
weed,
Brady
you could play a long
at 47.
time.
Weed and Robert were friends. But so I go up to Taji, and this is after the game.
Did he get playing time?
And he hit a three, and I was watching him warm up. This dude's knocking down threes. He is fighting Father Time big time to be out there.
Winning.
And winning. Still out there. I mean, it's an impressive job. But so I had this conversation with him as we bring in Taj on our flowing CHGO Bears After Dark about retiring both Derrick Rose and Joakim Noah's number, because I think they belong in the Raptors at the UC. This was Taj. Taj, what do you think about 13-1 one day hanging from the Raptors here at the UC?
It'll be awesome. Well deserved. Both guys put the city on their back. Everybody who wore the jersey in that time frame put the city on their back. So those guys deserve it, man.
Don't you think I feel like I'm climbing uphill here, but don't you think that's a no-brainer? You got heart and soul Joakim and from Chicago.
But first thing first, they awesome people. But this shows how humble they are, because how the city embraced this Joakim, and then how Derrick took the whole team to a whole new level, just being a hometown kid. Not many people are hometown kids and can do well in their respective cities. And he took on a lot of pressure, and he showed well.
You've been in the league now more than a minute. Can we say that was your favorite time when you maybe take a little bit of a peek back at those games?
It was an awesome time in life. But what makes it even special was the fans. You walk in the stadium, the people, the generations of kids growing up, their kids growing up, watching us play. That's what this brings it all to reality.
You gave the fans free hot dogs tonight.
I try to do my best to help, because that's my extended family. That's all love.
Yeah. Last one for you. If it worked out that you had one more stanza in this uniform, would that kill you?
With a what?
One more stanza in a.
Oh, I would love that, man. I would cry all day if I had that happen. No.
He would cry all day for one more time wearing the Bulls uniform. I really do hope that Arturis and company are looking at that. Tell me you wouldn't want that veteran presence on this Bulls team, trying to squeeze whatever they can out of this Bulls team.
I'm nostalgic, so I'd love Taj Gibson. I'd love Derrick Rose to come back to the Bulls. I've heard whispers about that being a potential thing last couple of years. I'd be all for it, what Derrick Rose and Taj Gibson, but Derrick Rose specifically means to this city is, it's unmatched. And I understand that people are like, there's other players that deserve their number in the rafters more than Derrick, Norman Van Leer, other guys, whatever. But Derrick Rose, what he meant to the city in the way that he came up in the south side of Chicago at Simeon and did what he did once he came to the Bulls. MVP. I mean, he won as many MVPs as Kobe Bryant did in his career.
That's exactly right. And by the way, nobody. I mean, Seth and I, the elder statesman on the show, and I'm sure you do too, Bryce. We love Norm Van Leer, and we didn't even see him play.
Love Norm. But Norman.
Derek was a better player than Norm. If we're talking,
I didn't watch Norm play.
It's not even close.
I mean,
Norm.
I know Norm from the Johnny Red Kerr, Norm Van Leer broadcasting days.
Right.
I mean,
I didn't see Norm play either. But I mean, I've got history. I got older brothers who watched that era of the Bulls, and Norm and Sloan and Chet Walker and Tom Borwinkle, and they went to the Western Conference Finals, and they could have won, but they didn't. And they were the try-hard Bulls, and the stadium was rocking for the first time ever, and then it wasn't. And then you had the Artis Gilmore, Reggie Theus train, and then
Derrick Rose was on a trajectory to be the greatest point guard in NBA history, and then Steph Curry took his place once Derrick got hurt.
That's a real tall comment.
He won MVP in his third year?
He was the youngest MVP in the history of the league.
Youngest MVP ever.
In the history of the league.
He was beating the brakes off Russell Westbrook when Russell was still Russell Westbrook.
Yep.
I mean, Steph Curry, he wouldn't have had a chance. I mean, if you remember when Derrick was still kind of like in fluctuation and trying to figure out who he was as a player, he still went to Golden State and beat the Warriors on the road early in the season on a game-winning shot. Derrick Rose, if he had stayed healthy, would have easily been one of the greatest point guards in NBA history. Steph Curry, Isaiah Thomas, those guys are certainly in the echelon. Derrick Rose can't get there, and he probably won't make the Hall of Fame, which is a shame, obviously. But to be in the Chicago Bulls rafters, would be a nod to not only what he did as a Chicago Bull, but what he meant to this city in general. And I'd be completely for it, even if some view it as unwarranted. I really don't care what those people think. Taj Gibson, when the Bulls took the Heat in the Eastern Conference Finals in 2011, they were up 1-0, and I went to Game 2 figuring, I mean, they beat the brakes off Miami Heat in Game 1. 103-82 was the final score. In the second game, Taj Gibson hammers it down on Dwayne Wade. I'm in the upper deck. One of the greatest moments I've ever had as a Bulls fan. It looks like the Bulls are going to win again, and they fall short, and then they lose the next 4, which was unfortunate, but those were the pinnacle moments for me as a Bulls fan since the Jordan era, which I did get to experience. Some Bulls fans never got to live those Jordan days. So, for me, I'm grateful for that I did get to live those Jordan days. But at the same time, Derrick Rose brought the Bulls back to prominence. And it was short-lived because of the injuries, which is unfortunate. But I will always be forever grateful for the short period of time that the Bulls were who they were. Because I couldn't stand the super team Heat. I couldn't stand that bravado and what the NBA become. Derrick Rose looking at LeBron and those guys dancing at the All-Star game, and he's side-eyeing. I'm like, I ain't dancing like that. I took pride in that. That fell short, but to me, they were the antithesis of what the NBA was becoming at that point. And if he had stayed healthy, people would have wrapped their arms around that Bulls team. But
they did.
It just wasn't meant to be.
They did. It was a beloved team. The United Center was rocking. I just when I looked back on that thing, and Seth, you look like you want to.
I just want to say if he had stayed healthy, and that's always the asterisk on Derrick Rose, right? It's because if he had a fucking coach that didn't ride him like a quarter horse and run him into the ground and have him on the game when they're up 15 with like 90 seconds left and he blows out his knee.
Yep.
Only Tom Thibodeau coaches his players. The reason he wins is because he coaches every game like it's the last game, and I appreciate that, but that's not how Popovich coaches. That's not how Riley coaches. That's not how any successful, sustainable coach coaches. It's a marathon. Learn how to manage the minutes, and Derrick Rose broke down because of Coach Tibbs. Period.
Organization-wide,
Tibbs fucked him.
That year, I don't want to go down that whole road right now. I don't disagree. I love Tibbs. I wish he was still.
He feels so bad he brought him to the Knicks. He knows he's guilty for ruining his career.
That year, it was the lockout year. They had 50 games. The NBA's had fall too. They were playing back-to-back-to-back games, trying to squeeze things in. Tons of guys got hurt. Rose blew out his knee.
My point, you got to manage the minutes.
100%. I agree with you. But what was interesting to me about this whole thing, because I put out that video, and there has just been a ton of response from people who absolutely love Taj Gibson. And Taj is a bench guy. So it makes me think, like, all-time role players in the history of this city. And to your point, Casey, we can kick it off with Bears players who were not necessarily the best players on the field, but straight beloved role guys. Who's on your list there, Braggs?
Take that, Carm's notes.
Okay.
It's a tough homework assignment.
What are we starting with Bears?
Sure, start with Bears. Give me your Bears.
I've got a bunch. I've got like 12 on each.
That's fine.
Bulls, Bears, Cubs. I've got one Blackhawks because I'm not a hockey guy.
Dave Bolin, Jalmerson. Who do you got for the Hawks?
For the Hawks, I got Duncan Teeth.
That's not a role player.
He's not a role player?
No, he's a star. Come on, he's a borderline Hall of Famer.
He was the fourth biggest star of that
best
team.
defenseman the Hawks ever had. The guy
fine.
Swallowed his fucking chiclets
that's what I'm saying.
and then came back and had the most ice minutes in the fucking playoffs.
That's how I look at it. He had no teeth. Duncan
The
teeth.
game he had no teeth, he swallowed them and still had the most minutes.
That's why you don't trust me for the Blackhawks takes.
Okay, what do you got for the Bears?
All right, so Bears.
And by the way, where is the water bottle?
Where is it?
Thunder Bay, Ontario, by the way, Duncan Keith.
Here's my water bottle.
What's floating in there? What is that?
I don't know. It's been here a few weeks, so I really don't know. But, I'm a bricklayer, so, like, you never know what can get in here, like brick dust, mortar, whatever. Hey, blue collar.
What is
Would you
it?
take a sip out of that right now?
You want me to?
No,
not necessarily.
No,
Not necessarily.
There's
no,
anemas in it.
no,
Why?
No,
I don't want you to
there's some
die.
Shit in there, dude.
I took a sip. I'll be okay. It's Mio and water. Relax, everyone. Okay, so
That is a fish in there that you just.
maybe a fish.
You gotta get a close up. Hold on, bring that. Hold on, that has to. You gotta for the people to appreciate what just happened. Oh my lord.
This is this. So I'll
There's
narrate
like
it.
anemas in it.
I'll narrate it. I don't know if you could quite
Oh,
see
my
the
God.
floating part. Lift it up. Lift it up. Lift it up.
A little
Higher. Right there. Can you see the floating? I don't think you can.
Floaties in it.
You can't really see
Okay,
it.
so it's water
But
and
you get-
Mio,
you get-
Mio flavoring, lemon, lime.
You get the point. You get the point.
Take another sip. I don't care.
No.
Oh!
I drink it every day. You're a bricklayer. You're eating food and there's like mortar on your hands. Sometimes you're eating mortar. There's like lime and mortar. Come on. Okay. The blue collar guy over here, we're not worried about it. And the thing about it is it builds up your immune system too. So, that's why I never got COVID during the whole pandemic.
Never got
or anything like
COVID.
that. Never got it. Never got it.
You didn't know it. You didn't know you got
when we
it.
sold our house, I was living at my mom's with my wife and my daughter. We were all packed in one house when we sold our house. They all got COVID. I didn't get COVID. Why? Because my immune system is built up. That's why.
Test for it?
I tested. My wife's a nurse, so of course I tested for it. So again, all right. So we're going to role players, and we're starting with the Bears. Let's get on track here because somebody, KT in the chat, said maybe one day Carmen will talk about
KT,
the Bears.
have you been watching this podcast? We started off with the biggest deep dive in the history
We
of the
have
Super Bowl.
been all over the tracks here. This show could easily go 2.5 hours if we let it.
This is Bears After Dark.
So Bears After Dark. We're
Show
getting
brought to you by
crazy here.
Ritalin.
But Bears all-time greatest role players, and I have a long list here because there's a lot of people that came to mind when it came to the underappreciated role players. But there is something I had to know because we're going to talk about the Bears, the Bulls, the Cubs, the Blackhawks, whatever.
Just shorten it up. What do you
All
got?
right, but I'm just saying, to have good role players, you have to first be a good team. Because if you're a bad team,
Disagree.
there is no such thing as good role players because your role players just suck because your team sucks. So the only way you can appreciate a role player is when your team is good. So it's hard to stay current with some of these teams because most of our teams have sucked for the last few years in the not too distant future. Or past. Anyway, Bears. Best role players. Brendan Iambadejo.
Yeah, he's on my list. He's on my Bear list.
The Canadian?
If you come to our CHGO Bears tailgates, which we will have another one for the Bears Eagles on December 18th, make sure you come out. We are going to have a lot of fun on the corner of Roosevelt and Michigan. And what I do at the Bears tailgates, and Mark knows this, is I play my Devin Hester DVD that I made back in high school, and I gave to Devin Hester himself, and he loves it. He signed my copy. He's a great dude, and Devin Hester is an amazing player. But one thing you'll notice on this DVD.
What is happening over there?
I'm telling you, Brendan Iambadejo, on every Devin Hester touchdown in the first 2 years of his career, is at the front end of every touchdown. Every crucial block, whether it's the Monday Night Miracle, whatever touchdown you want to pick out, Brendan Iambadejo is one of the reasons Devin Hester gets to the house. One of the most underappreciated Bears in Bears history. Patrick Mannelly, you had him on. You interviewed him. Obviously, he's a role player, center. I'll go through this list quickly.
Counter it.
Jason McKee, fullback of the 2006 Bears. A lot of people forget. Number 1 ranked defense, but they were also the number 1 ranked offense that year because of their run game. Jason McKee as a fullback.
Jason McKee's on my list.
Jason McKee is on the list because
that's a good call.
We knew how to run the ball in 2006, and that's why we got to the Super Bowl, and that was the reason we didn't win the Super Bowl because we didn't stick to the run.
I didn't necessarily need a dissertation, everyone. But by the way, in the chat, all-time favorite role players. Jump on in, but keep going.
Des Clark. Hunter
Hillenmeyer. On my list.
Des Clark, Hunter Hillenmeyer, the unsung hero of that linebacking core between Brian Urlacher, Lance Briggs, Hunter Hillenmeyer. DeAndre Houston Carson.
DHC.
How many coaching staffs has DHC made it through? Like 3 now with the Bears. He deserves credit for that. He's the longest tenured Bear as of right now with the Chicago Bears. My guy, I know he went through some stuff legally, but my guy, Josh Bellamy, who showed me a lot of love throughout the years at training camp.
I thought you were going to bust out a Sam Hurd on that one.
Josh Bellamy. He also made it through 3 different coaching staffs with this team, making it at the back end of the roster every single year. And when you go to training camp, that's what's most fun about rooting for those guys that are trying to make the very last few spots on the roster. Josh Bellamy was that guy, and he was also the leader of the Clubhouse.
Can you pause just for a second?
I'm trying.
Just pause for a second. Take a breath. Take a breath.
I'm trying.
Deep breath. There you go. Josh Bellamy was my favorite.
I love Josh.
Okay, relax. Josh Bellamy was my favorite Bears wide receiver who was on the team forever, who literally could not catch.
Because he made it on special teams
every
year. He was vital on special teams.
He was how many years was he on the Bears?
Like I said, he made it through 3 different coaching staffs, and that's the testament to a player. When you can make it through 3 different coaching staffs, Mark Trestman,
he's the greatest porn star when he can arrive.
Mark Trestman, John Fox, and then of course, our guy Matt Nagy. He made it through 3 different coaching staffs. That's a testament to a role player that you can convince 3 different coaches to keep you on the 56-man.
Keep going.
Jack Sanborn, right now, he's on our role player. He honestly, Mark, you could take a bathroom break because I'm going to keep rolling. Jack Sanborn, he is our role player right now.
They told me to keep Can you play the music here?
They told me to keep it current, so that's the most current role player I can come up with right now, Jack Sanborn. You're killing it as a role player right now. You're like Jack Sandlocker. That's my favorite nickname of all the different nicknames for Jack Sanborn that are out there. Jack Sandlocker is the one I like the most. Tim Jennings. Tim Jennings is one of my favorite cornerbacks in Chicago Bears history. A grinder, Seth. He would kill it. And I believe Kindle Vildor has Tim Jennings' capabilities. Everyone laughs at me, but you know what? I don't care. I'm standing to it. They don't have a pass rush right now. The day they do, Kindle Vildor will be your Tim Jennings. I don't care what you say. You better hurry up over there, Mark. My final 2 role players in Chicago Bears history, Israel Adonijah. People forget how good Israel Adonijah was on defense and special teams. Killed the game. I'm good. I got my whiskey and Coke over here. Israel Adonijah. And he's the reason they came up with those cartoon bears that they came up with, like in the superhero bears in the cartoons. He drew those out. Israel Donajee continues to kill.
Izzy's on my list.
Can you get a
And then
can you get a
Roberto
ringtone
Garza.
like
Okay, this is a nightmare. What I've done.
My final one for the Bears, Roberto Garza. He's the unsung hero on the Bears
Delicious.
offensive line. He was there the longest of all the different offensive linemen
How many
that were
more?
there. That's it.
Okay.
Roberto
Okay.
Garza with the Bears. I have some on the Cubs and Bears, Bulls, but we'll move on. That's my Bears, guys.
That's a good job. It's an
that
excellent
is serious homework. Like
I had Thomas Jones, Earl Bennett, my guy, Martellus Bennett. That's shout out to Jake Flanagan, Israel Donajee, Hunter Hillemeyer. Did you not say him?
I said Hunter.
You did. Brendan Amadejo, Jason McKee, Des Clark. That's who I had.
I had 12.
By the way, I did mine in 8 seconds. And yours,
by the way, I'm going to do it in 4.
yeah.
And
Mark sends me this at lunch. I'm laying stone all day, and he sends me this homework assignment at lunch, and I bring the heat.
Bears After Dark.
I actually
Love you.
texted you guys my group.
Yes, you
I just
you
made
did.
it into a starting 5. My starting 5, all I really like role player. I also think is synonymous with unappreciated. You know, it's that blue collar, it's that underappreciated player.
Yes, sir.
Mine, I think. One's definitely a Hall of Famer. If he's not, he should be. But I felt like he was like the glue to the White Sox. He's my favorite all-time White Sox. Harold Baines. Is he a role player?
No.
Okay.
No, star, Hall of Famer.
He's my point guard, my shooting guard, and I'm going across all the Chicago sports on my all underappreciated. It's my underappreciated team. 2 is Sarge Matthews. I know that's a little old school. And my
Every one of yours is old school, but that's okay. Sarge Matthews, for us old school Cub fans, was it was a 3-hitter, play left field. Loved the Sarge though. He wasn't the star of that team, which
not
was
at
like
all. Role player.
Yeah, that's true. That's fair.
100%
I like
role
it.
player. Is there a bigger role player in the history of the Chicago Bulls? And yes, I'm not. Yes, if you want to call Rodman a Bull, obviously a Bull, but is he? He might be the greatest role player in any sport of all time. Dennis Rodman.
Yeah, but
Go get the
he's
rebounds.
a star.
That's a
He
role
was
player.
a star.
That's another
But
Hall of
I mean,
Famer.
he
I
made
was
being a
gonna-
role player a star.
I was going to go that way too
That's
because
true,
he
he
was a
did.
specific role rebounding.
Yeah.
But he was
Yes.
technically
Isn't that
a
the
star.
definition of role
but
player?
he superseded it because he was a star.
Yeah, but
of that
I'm
team.
looking for these are all fine, by the way. Keep going, but I'm looking for, in the chat at least, end of bench role
Right.
guys who
Right.
who you loved. Like you were so happy when they got in the game, and if it was hoops, they got a bucket, or if it was football, they got a tackle, or if it was baseball, they got a knock, something along
Granville
those.
Waiters.
Did you love Waiters?
Love Granville Waiters.
There
He looks older than you now when he played. Literally.
It's true. It's
Right.
true.
He went
All
with
right, you want my Bulls list, and I'll just
Ohio
say the
State.
names.
Are you
and then
wait? Hold
you
on.
can
Hold on.
react.
Hold on. Pause over there. Have you finished?
I also had Peanut Tillman. I mean, I think I guess
Also a
I
star.
feel like he's a Hall of Famer.
Another
though.
should be Hall of Famer. Yep.
And then the 5th guy on my most underappreciated. I don't know that he's a role player. I'm kind of Dallas Comegys.
I had no idea who this person was when you said
He was a DePaul Blue Demon in the late
5-star
80s.
recruit. Ray Meyer's last great 5-star.
All right,
Love you,
I'll
Ray.
trust you. All right. My Bulls list was Kirk Heinrich, Andres Nocioni.
Oh, that's a
Holt
good one. That's a
Hero,
good one.
Great
That's a good
name.
one.
Holt Hero, Steve Kerr, game-winning shot.
Gennaro Pargo in the chat's a great call, Kyle Williams.
No,
Yes,
Judd
it is.
Bushler. People forget how great
Bush.
he was. The
Love
Bush.
Bushler.
He sucks.
They
John
call him
Paxson,
fundamental.
again, Steve
Not a-
Kerr, John Paxson, game-winning threes. They deserve it. Ben Gordon, or is he too much
too
superstar?
solid.
All right, too superstar-ish. He was
McManus is a
great.
good call. Fire Nagy, fire
Luol
Pace, fire
Deng,
Phillips.
So, same then. Luol Deng was a starter, not end of the bench. So Nate Robinson. I mean, people forget.
That's
the
a good
cup-
one, but he was also a star.
He wasn't though.
At that time, he was. He was leading the charge, man. They beat the Brooklyn Nets because of Nate Robinson.
But the fundamental definition of role player.
Oh my God, old school. John Crash Mangle's the greatest name I've ever seen in chat tonight.
John Crash Mangle.
I love
That's a good
Laz.
call.
I don't even know who that is.
Yeah, you don't, because you're.
Did he
I'm
go?
not
Wait,
old.
Laz, did he go to LSU?
You don't have to ask Laz. I can look it up. But Laz, you're awesome. John Mangle, LSU.
Scalabrini.
Well,
There's a good-
Scalabrini was
Scalabrini's a
more
good
of
one.
like a joke cult hero. Like
Great
he
call,
never
Christian.
played. You know, I mean, who was the guy that they hired to watch Dennis Rodman?
John Mangelt, 73.
Oh, Jack Haley.
Jack Haley.
Love
great
Jack Haley.
call.
Jack
That's
Haley.
yes.
But he never played. He's like
Literally hired
Scalabrine.
because he
Literally
was
hired
friends.
to watch
Auburn
Dennis
Tiger.
Rodman.
That's the best call ever.
Yeah.
Auburn
Jack
Tiger.
Haley.
Last has Auburn Tigers.
Auburn. I knew it was SEC.
Yeah.
I don't remember
He was
John
Mangelt was on the 70s Bulls. He was also a commentator on TV.
Is he still kicking?
73.
Wow.
All right. Here was my role players for Cubs, and I win an interesting.
Can I give you my Bulls ones?
It's a good one
All
there.
right,
on
you can give the
screen.
Bulls ones, and then I'll.
Randy Brown is
Yeah.
solid. I mean,
Randy Brown,
New
great
Mexico
call.
State.
sold off the championship rings. That's not great for Randy, but
And he also tried to when he was hugging the ball with Jordan, I just kind of felt like in that moment as a 10-year-old or 11-year-old as I was, let Jordan have his moment.
yeah, Randy, what are you doing? Give the ball to Mike.
Back up,
He
Randy.
was like a house husband trying to get some camera time.
Yeah, I mean, it was genuine. I don't want to accuse it not, but yeah, at the same time, let Jordan hug the ball. It was Father's Day. They beat the Supersonics. Let Jordan hug the ball.
Yes.
I love Randy. All respect to anybody.
By
that
the
won
way,
a
real quick
championship
on
for the
Randy
Bulls.
Brown, is he still coaching?
No, he's doing community relations for the Bulls, I believe. I've seen him around the UC.
I like Randy. I'm just saying, let Jordan hug the ball on his own. I wonder what he has to think about that.
All right.
Who's the kid from Michigan State that played point guard that was with Jordan? Sam
Vincent?
Sam Vincent.
Loved Sam Vincent.
Love Sam Vincent. You're better than Sam Vincent, by the way.
Had 31 in Game 2 against the Pistons in 1988. The one game they won in the series, Sam Vincent.
DJ
Who
Augustin,
starts,
that's a good
BJ
one.
Armstrong or Sam
Oh,
Vincent?
BJ. Come on. Not even close.
Really?
Oh.
You take BJ over Sam Vincent?
BJ was a
BJ
baller,
has
dude.
never made a shot with someone in his face.
BJ was a
BJ
baller.
started at 93. They won the title. Hit the corner three against the Knicks. Game 5 on the road. Big shot. Way to find me.
Who has a higher vertical?
Sam.
BJ
can't jump.
Armstrong or Luke Longley?
I don't think BJ ever dunked.
I don't think he can.
But I had a huge crush on BJ. The guy used to hoop at multiplex. We would play one-on-one. BJ kicked it to me on the wing one time when I was in college and actually played. I shot the jumper as it's on the way. We were up 7-4 at the time. I shoot the J on the way to the hoop. He's 8-4. Counted my bucket for
while the ball was in the air.
While it was in the air.
Time out.
Come on.
You played college
Come
ball?
on. What's up?
Rec Center.
Played college? Oh, Rex.
No. I mean, intramurals.
What
Elite
is
8.
happening here?
I beat Tim Dwight off the dribble to the bucket, Braggs. Tim Dwight.
I like it.
I mean, that's
The punt return?
No, I
Yes.
respect it.
Wow.
I respect it.
shook him, laid it
Wow.
in with a bad hamstring.
That's a great next show. Your closest encounter with a great athlete, where it wasn't where you were kissing their ass, but you're actually had a situation.
Jay Cutler serving me a beer at he was working for Dos Equis at the national championship when it was Clemson versus LSU, Burrow versus Trevor Lawrence, and Cutler was doing a thing, so I got a beer from Cuddy.
So Jay Cutler, and he was already retired.
Yes.
And Dos Equis,
He was working.
who had one of the greatest ad campaigns with the most interesting man in the world. Was
Yes.
this
Yes.
an antithesis, the most disinteresting man in the world? Seriously, that fucking guy, I will never drink Dos Equis again if they affiliated with that guy. That little freaking wimp ass who had a little MCL tear. When he stood up. I'll go on record. I'll go on record. I'll go on record.
He's
Cutler was the
going full
intelligent-
Maurice Jones-Drew.
No, dude, no quarterback. Jay Cutler
He was
could
tough.
have played in that NFC Championship
He
game.
didn't play on the MCL.
He took himself all out of
No,
the game in
no,
an
no,
NFC
no.
Championship
Listen,
game.
listen.
You got to kill me to come out of that game.
Listen, Seth, I will share in your hatred for Jay Cutler because I don't like Jay either. And if he was here, I'd tell him that to his face. I don't like Jay. But he did play on a torn MCL for a few series and knew he couldn't do it. So it's unfounded for people to say he could have played the rest of the game. He tried. I'll give him that. At that time, anybody that had criticism for that, I think it was
He
unfounded.
couldn't do it
But
because he was
overall-
worried about next season.
No, overall, I agree. Jay was a jerk, all that stuff, but he was tough. You can't take that away from him.
I don't think he was. I think you get Mike Tice. Can we call Mike Tice the offensive coordinator that was shown on TV in Jay Cutler's face when he pulled himself out? Mike Tice get Mike Tice, Mark. Seriously, he will tell you that Jay could have
get
played.
Mike Tice on
I
right
could
now.
get Mike Tice.
While you're there.
I love Mike Tice.
Christian, love you. Shout out Caleb Haney indeed. Let's get him. Let's get Caleb Haney
NFL,
and
my
Mike
guy.
Tice on the show.
All right.
Where are you at?
The Bulls list. Are you done with it?
Jay Cutler.
You on my Bulls list?
I mean, you were halfway through it, and we went on tangents.
I love the fact that Braggs is the guy that
I'm
is
trying to keep this boat afloat.
I think you're doing a good job. Underrated job by you.
Not easy.
Where's Adam? He's in Paris. Help me, Adam.
Who's asking where Adam is?
I'm just saying he's normally the one to keep the ship afloat.
Adam,
not me.
Yeah, no, this is true.
If
Adam,
I'm keeping the ship afloat.
Adam is in Paris.
Scary.
We miss Adam. He's having a great time.
Honeymoon?
No, just living dreams.
Living
nice.
the dream. Didn't take.
Keep
breaks.
going, Braggs. I don't know where my list went.
All right, so like I said, I went a little unique with my Cubs list.
The legal pad beats the laptop every time.
The Carms Notes edition of what I have.
Kind of emotional that I can't find my list.
Third Rail Tavern making this list.
But if you have to make the list and it's not off the top of your head, they shouldn't be on the fucking list.
No, because I wanted to be smart with it. So
wait, hold on. Before you go on that though, I just want to say like when you're doing your list, the best way to do it, Braggs, without any even like an ounce of a doubt, is when you are wearing something from FOCO. That's right. If you're looking for the perfect gift, I love my people at FOCO. They're so awesome. A perfect gift for the football fan or any fan. Hoodies, slippers, signs, bobbleheads. Seriously, go to FOCO, support CHGO, and get yourself cooking with any of the above. The best apparel going. FOCO's got it for you. FOCO.com. Click the link in the description below for all non-presale items. Use that promo code CHGO for 10% off. I love our friends at FOCO.
What does that stand for?
It stands for amazing. FOCO. That's what.
are you doing a Shady Rays read tonight?
Sure, Braggs. You want to do Shady Rays?
Because I have my Shady Rays on right now. I just got them today, so I'm like really excited about that.
Yeah.
Great
They're
sight. Oh my God.
We actually don't have Shady tonight, but the bottom line is if you did break that sunglasses, you could get new ones or lost them because you signed up with Shady Rays. 2 sunglasses are $54. Shady Rays, extra love for you tonight because Braggs is wearing the Shady Rays, which is sweet. And hey, by the way, since we're just doing this right now, before we let Braggs wrap it up, DraftKings, thank you so much for all your support here. DraftKings is where you should be doing all your kicking it up. This is what you do. You bet $5 at DraftKings, put it on the money line, NFL, NBA, wherever you want to go. You get $150 in free bets right now. Everyone who can earn a 100% boost with DraftKings stepped up same game parlays. Seriously, if you are not a member at DraftKings, you're just not living your life the correct way. Download the app now. Sign up with the code CHGO. Put a $5 moneyline bet on literally NBA, NFL, NHL, whatever you want to do. You get $150 in free bets if your team that you bet on wins. Code CHGO only at DraftKings Sportsbook. Okay, go ahead, Brooke.
I'm in second place in a very competitive fantasy football league. And I just want you to know that I took it seriously this year, and I am in second place, and Josh Jacobs has put me in second place. Thank you.
And shout out to my guy, Jack Silverstein. He said on Twitter, I was right. Prior to the interception to Kelvin Hayden, we had a 22-yard first down pass to Muhsin Muhammad, and then we chose to pass it again, dip it back into the well, threw a pick six. If we'd have just ran the ball, played ball control, fourth quarter, tried to win the game. It was 22-17 at the time. I'll never forget it.
Steven, how you doing over there? You all right?
I'm good.
He's good. Yeah. He's good. So I went a little different with my most popular role players in Chicago sports history with the Cubs because, I'm trying to stay on point here.
Are you doing your own show?
I did my homework, and we are going to read my homework.
Okay, fire through them. Let's go.
Okay. After Ryan Sandberg at second base, we went through a little bit of a run of second baseman. And as a kid growing up through the Cubs years, it seemed like every year the second baseman was my favorite player ever. So I'm just going to read you this list. Obviously right now Nico Horner is the guy, and I'm enjoying where he's growing into that role, and I think he could be one of those second basemen that I love forever. Darwin Barney, Mark Bellhorn. People forget how good Mark Bellhorn was.
I loved Bellhorn.
Switch hitter, won a couple rings with the Boston Red Sox. Mickey Morandini.
Was Bellhorn ever found out to be on the
No, he
Beetlejuice?
wasn't. Mickey Morandini from Valpo, the region.
I like
Shout
Morandini.
out to my guy Luke Stuckmeyer. Mickey Morandini was a great second baseman. Todd Walker. One year I went to spring training, and I chased Todd Walker down on a golf cart to get his autograph. And before I realized it, I was running and chasing him into the players' parking lot. And they laughed about it and let me get his autograph and then let me go on my way. Mike Fontenot from LSU, another good second baseman.
Battled.
Ryan Theriot, you can't quiet the riot.
Ugh.
Eric Young, Mark Grizzolonic, Mark DeRosa, my DeRosa, Ben Zobrist, World Series.
I seriously unleashed a
World
complete
Series
lunatic tonight with this
champion.
topic.
Well, it's a learning experience.
Those were all
you gotta
second
give Greg like
basemen.
a specific number.
Those
Give me
were-
5.
No, those were all second basemen. Great role players with the Cubs. I just listed all the second basemen since Ryan Sandberg, and every single one of them were great role players. I find that to be crazy. And, shout out to those guys. And then the only one that was a non-second baseman, but he was more of a star, so he doesn't fall in line with what Mark wanted this to be, was Dexter Fowler. You go, we go. But he was a role player.
He was
in
adorable.
my eyes. So all those second basemen,
Gary
shout out
Scott.
to those guys. Ben
Gary
Zobrist.
Scott.
My favorite role player of all time.
All right, sorry.
All right.
Oh,
Remember
that's
when
it.
you thought his
That's
rookie
that's
card
all
was
I
going to
got.
be worth something?
The Bragg's notes.
It's a good job. My Cubs role players.
Steve's like, this is a shit show.
I think it's a great show. For the diehards that are in here
Shit
tonight, we
show.
appreciate you. Let's see here. Okay. I got one more topic as we're gonna wrap up the show. And
We're gonna
make this one brief because I appreciate everybody in here and
Well, good shows get better, right? Like I feel like we've gotten worse.
This has been great.
Disagree. Jody Davis is a great call. I think it's been a great show.
The red-haired ragger.
I might watch this one back. By the way, my Bulls: Taj, BJ, Ed Neely.
Ed Neely.
I mean, come on. I had the guy that sat behind me at the stadium back in the day. We had tickets in the mezzanine. I was a very fortunate, privileged kid coming out of rough and tumble Highland Park, Illinois, and so we were 8th row mezzanine on the corner of the old stadium, and the guy behind me, I think he was either a photographer for Playboy or Penthouse or something of that ilk, and or just like straight drug dealer. I don't know what he was doing, but he was the most entertaining dude ever. And he would have, for one game, he would bring his major, like I think that they probably got married to this day, and her name was Carmen, and she was there at every game, and she was incredibly beautiful, and I always dreamed that like I could marry her and we'd be Carmen, the whole thing. And then
Is this a derivative of Ed Neely?
yes,
Okay.
and so and
I'm just trying to follow.
Thank you. I didn't
like-
understand how I got into
yeah.
it. And so you just brought me back into it. And so then in game 2, he would bring a rando. And then the game 3 would be Carmen. Game 4 would be a rando. Game 5 would be Carmen.
Wait, just so the guy he'd alternate,
She went to every odd game, and then there would be a different person at the evens.
and it was another girlfriend.
Yeah, of whoever.
Okay.
Yes, just whatever.
Okay,
That was who got to go that night. But the Carmen was 1, 3, 5, 7, 9, 11, and then 2, 4, 6 were different every time. That's what this guy did. But so he loved Dave Corzine because he wanted to get Corzine t-shirts when that guy started coming up. And then when Ed Neely became a viable piece, he would smack me. He would smack me because he's always a row behind me. He would smack me on the back hard. Every time Neely did anything, he would smack me like Rambus of the 90s. Rambus of the 90s. Rambus of it. Oh God!
This is the best Ed Neely story of all time.
Rambus of the 90s was straight genius. Okay, where are we now?
I have no idea.
Ben Coquette
quick,
is where we are now.
Real quick, guys, want to mention Baker Mayfield's in at quarterback for the Rams right now.
No way! Breaking
That's
news.
happening.
Mark, as a professional sports
Did he start?
reporter,
He did not
did
start.
not
can you
start.
break the news?
Who started?
Baker
think it was
Mayfield is in
Walford.
for the Rams.
Okay, can we all boo?
Wait,
Baker?
how long has he been a Ram? 48 hours?
Yeah, just about the plane trip over and one
Okay,
extra day.
is this a record? Have we ever seen somebody come in and play an NFL quarterback within 48 hours of joining the team, that might be a record.
Well, and it's interesting, too, by the way, because everyone's like, you can't sign Colin Kaepernick because, take him too long to win the office. Guy's been there for 5 minutes. I mean, we'll just throw Baker Mayfield out there. And by the way, I don't want to do this, but I'm going to do it.
Baker just drove the field. They're kicking a 55-yard field goal.
And it's good.
Wow.
10-3.
Al
We're
Michaels.
rooting for the Rams here for the Tankathon. Okay, everyone.
And it's good.
What did you have? What was the final thing you were going to say?
Well, I have two things. Number one, because I just popped in my head. The huge news of the day was Brittney Griner.
What happened?
She's back.
Yeah, they made a trade.
The
White Sox can't make a trade, but Russia and the United States can make a trade to get Brittney Griner back to the United States. Shout out to the U.S.
Which I was going to do that whole thing, but I'm not going to do that. I just want to say this, it would just be nice if the old United States of America, we could just come together and I understand
nice.
that the politics have.
Be nice.
I mean. We're talking about somebody who brought, for lack of a just vape or whatever, she brought marijuana to a foreign country and spent a year in prison. I would like to think that we could just...
Was it just marijuana?
She had a vape pen.
That's all it was?
Yes. Yeah.
Oh my God!
I would like to think that we could all...
Their
How late are
prisons aren't like our prisons.
By the way, I asked
to
my Uber over here, no joke.
Yeah.
How late are dispensaries open here?
Right, exactly. I would like
Keep
to think,
me out of Russia.
I would just like to think that we could, somebody who's in a penal colony, who's an American, who's over there despite a politics, I think, and regardless of whatever the trade is, we brought back an American who was wrongly detained or is 10 times overpaying for whatever crime allegedly she did. Who knows? Maybe they planted on her. I don't know. I'm assuming that she brought it over there thinking she'd get away with it, but nobody knows the actual story. I would like to think that we could all be in unison that, okay, that person does not deserve to be spending time in a penal colony in Russia. Thank you. So there's just that. And then my other thing is this.
Who takes the credit for
scared.
getting? Who did the trade?
I don't care. I guess, but there was a lot of people working on it. A lot of countries were behind it. So, but I want to talk about this as we wrap up here on a completely different back to the Bears and Bears After Dark note. Because we were talking about Taj this is a winding show tonight. We were talking about Taj and retired numbers with Joakim and Rose. That was the question. I want to know your one Chicago Bear. In the chat too.
Way to get control of the show.
Thank you. One Chicago Bear right now that if you could have his number retired, you would pick.
That's easy.
Is it?
Yeah, for me.
Okay.
Yale, 45. Average dude.
You want Gary Fence?
Creating exceptional work. Yeah, Gary Fence.
Wow.
Yeah, I mean, I didn't look it up, but there's a bunch of numbers that are retired that I could care less about. They should unretire those numbers because they've been retired long enough. They got their respect. And because the Bears have hit their limit of retired numbers, so they can no longer retire numbers anymore. They should certainly do a Ring of Honor like some of the other teams do. But at the same time, we could also unretire some of these other numbers of players that played in the 30s that we really don't care about anymore. They got their due respect, all due respect, whatever. But there's numbers that should not be worn. Number 54, Brian Urlacher, of course. Number 23, Devin Hester, should not be worn. When a Bulls player wears number 1, Bulls players go after that player because you should never wear number 1 because out of respect to Derrick Rose, we've seen players try it and feel the heat from it. With the Bears, Devin Hester, the 23, 54, those two numbers for sure should not be worn. I mean, Lance Briggs, yes, number 55, but more so, I'm looking at 54 and 23. Charles Tillman certainly under consideration, but if we're going to start somewhere, Brian Urlacher, Devin Hester, those numbers should not be worn, in my opinion. And when they build this new stadium at Arlington Heights, they better do, they have the Walter Payton statue, the George Halas statue. They look great. So they're going to transfer those statues over to the new stadium, and they'll have some kind of Ring of Honor thing. They'll have the George Halas statue, the Walter Payton statue. They better have a Gale Sayers statue, a Devin Hester statue, a Brian Urlacher statue, a freaking Dan Hampton statue.
There we go.
Mike Singletary. The fridge.
So,
every single one of those guys should have statues in a nice little horseshoe. When you walk up, it's magnificent. As you're walking up to the entrance at Arlington Heights, that's what they should do.
You gave the fridge a statue?
I'm giving. Go ahead. I have no issue with it. If we're not going to retire any more numbers, that's what I want to do.
Can you sing the fridge's Super Bowl Shuffle?
No, I can't because when the 1985 Bears won the Super Bowl, I was 2 months old, so I can't sing the 85 Super Bowl Shuffle.
As if you couldn't learn something.
Yeah.
I don't need to learn it. It's too old.
That's
I'm a
unfortunate.
young man.
Who is yours?
You're looking at the fridge. I'm the rookie. I may be large, but I'm no dumb cookie. You seen me hit. You seen me run. When you see me pass, we'll have some more fun. I can dance. You will see the others. They'll learn from me. I didn't come here looking for trouble. I just came to do the Super Bowl Shuffle.
Boom.
All right. At least you sang it a little more.
Boom, 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 boom. Who am I picking? I'm picking it. It is. I have a bias on this.
Willie here.
This is Speedy Willie, and I'm world class. I like running, but I love to catch the pass. I practice all day and dance all night. I got to get ready for the Sunday fight. Now I'm as smooth as a chocolate swirl. I dance real funky, so watch me, girl. There's no one here that does it like me. My Super Bowl Shuffle will set me free. Bum, bum,
Oh my God!
bum, dun, dun,
That's
dun, dun. Anybody else? Dun.
That's fantastic.
You're doing great.
You-
You're doing
Did
great.
Steve Fuller actually have
This
a verse?
is Steve, and it's no wonder I run like lightning and pass like thunder. So bring on Atlanta, bring on Dallas. This is for Mike and Papa Bear
Hallis.
I think I'm
How about that Steve Fuller got a verse?
This is Steve, and it's no wonder I run like lightning and pass like
Where
thunder.
is Steve Fuller? Steve, can we get Steve Fuller before we go? Mike
back-
Tice and Steve Fuller. You want to bring viewers?
we got to work on it.
Quick question
I'm
for
not
you.
reading anything, Christian. I know the two.
Quick question.
Yeah, go ahead. Give me another person.
Because I want to ask both you guys. You guys are freaking awesome, passionately committed Chicago sports fans. I'm obsessed with Chicago sports like you guys, but you guys are just so deep. When the Jacksonville Jaguars move to the city of Chicago, which will happen, so we get a team back into the city, like the Jets and the Giants, this city will support.
We will shame them.
Will you be a Chicago Jags fan?
We will shame them like we do the White Sox.
But oh my gosh!
Oh, you got a problem with that,
the
Steve?
Jacksonville Jags come to Chicago, will you be a Chicago Jags fan or an Arlington
they'd be
Heights
lower than the
Bears
Sox.
fan? Mark,
No, they would literally be
they're
treated
coming. Remember,
worse.
this shit lives
They would be
forever.
treated
I called
worse
it
than the
right here. There will be an
there'd
NFL team,
there'd be
a second one.
There's been talks of that.
A real mayor will make it happen.
There will be somewhat of a defection of fans that are tired of the McCaskey family that'll go over if there was ever a new Chicago team.
got a
But
lot
I
of
think for
money
the
in this
most
city.
part, that's an uphill battle because the Chicago Bears are an institution. So, if you look at the Cubs-Sox dynamic and how popular the Cubs are and the Sox, have their
LA, which is a
struggles with
shitty-ass
popularity,
sports town, has
I think
two
it would
teams.
be even harder for a Jaguars team to move to Chicago and try to gain that kind of notoriety in this city. Most people are going to
Fair.
stick with the Bears, but there will be a percentage that move over to
The Jags.
stick with the city and stick and
Right
move
here.
over because they don't
Right
like
the frick
McCaskey.
here.
Well, you can then go on.
I
and
will.
We will be rivals.
Give me an alternative to
and
the
we will-
McCaskies, and I will be in.
Whatever.
Dude, have you ever seen a Super Bowl? Like where we've won in your lifetime? No, that's ownership. And they moved to Arlington Heights. They basically said F you to the city, and they did, and they're moving. And I'm renouncing my rights as a Bears fan. The second that a team comes into the city, I will be supporting that team.
Hell yeah. Cheers to that. Don't be scared of it. Just drink it. Just drink the shit.
My number one bear that I'm retiring to wrap up the show. Number one. I knew this show
What a
had
shit show.
I knew this show had potential tonight, and I don't know if we did it well or bad or in the bye week, but I just I knew it would be fun. So here's the thing:
We're having a
Dan
great
Hampton is in the.
I love Dan Hampton.
He's in the Hall of Fame. He's arguably the best defensive lineman we've ever had. 99
that.
should be honored. 100%.
Totally
Exactly.
agree with that.
Bring it
Arkansas.
honor. Dan Hampton, Singletary. I don't care. The fridge.
I appreciate Singletary.
Walter.
Hampton is another level than Mike.
Singletary, most overrated linebacker
Samurai
in NFL
Mike,
history,
too.
for the record.
I would say that Singletary was the third best linebacker on that team.
Urlacher, greatest linebacker in Bears history.
Eh.
I'm so frustrated, too, because I had a hot take about the Bears tonight, but I guess I'll leave it for next week.
Is it positive?
No. I don't even want to go on the tangent because Mark's going to get mad at me, but, you know.
No, I'm not.
I like, for me, I've been hearing a lot about it this week. It's the rumblings. Alex Brown talked about it. Charles Barkley said it on my guys with Waddle and Sylvie. Shout out to my boys. You know, some people think with Justin Fields, he shouldn't play the rest of the year. And like, I'm so obsessed with this number 2 pick, and I have no shame when it comes to wanting this number 2 pick as I watch the Rams try to fight and hope for this. I honestly, you know, if the Bears wanted to be careful with this guy, I wouldn't care. He had a great game against the Packers, so I'm not going to fight it if they're going to play him because, you know, he is progressing and learning as a passer and things of that nature. But at the same time, I think people don't realize if Justin Fields, God forbid, had a Derrick Rose moment, and I'm not going to say, like, I know everybody's like taboo. I'm just saying. I'm just saying that is the risk. I understand in football that is the risk every game. So people want to say, "Oh, don't bring it up," but it's an inherent risk when you play football. If God forbid something happens to Justin Fields where he cannot play next season, guess what the Chicago Bears are going to be drafting in the top 5 next year? Can you guess? If something, God forbid, happens,
I don't know.
The last 4 games of the season, something happens where Justin Fields cannot play next season. What are the Chicago Bears drafting in the top 3? Exactly, and that is a huge risk we are taking.
So shut them down.
If they want to play him, fine, but they have to be so freaking careful. And I'm going to come up with a list by next Sunday for the pregame show that I'm going to come up with of my standard of the things that need to happen.
Hey, buddy. What? Hey, cutie, sweetie.
I know.
Love you.
I can't bring it up tonight.
Yeah.
I can't. That's why I didn't start it with the show. But I'm just saying,
we're gonna end on a positive note. They're not shutting him down.
They're not going to. He's playing great.
We're shutting the show down.
Like, I want to go to bed.
He's having a lovely bye week right now. He's doing
great.
He's getting a good
healthy.
He might be getting a nice massage. Yes, you all right?
I forgot buys are back in that fantasy.
I'm worried about next year. All right, Christian.
Okay, we're all doing our own show right now. Seth's got to go to the buys. You're speaking Bragg's language.
Next week, I'm going to have this take. I don't care what any of you say, including Mark.
I want to ask Greg one thing, just selfishly. You could take,
do we need to do it on there?
Yeah, because it's who do I start in my fantasy. Do you guys talk fantasy?
Sure.
Because
when Violetta's here, we talk fantasy.
It's like a 500 in the pot. I mean, I'm right in the hunt. Do you start Pierce from Houston?
No.
Well, here's the option.
Okay.
Or Robinson Jr. from Washington.
Yeah.
All day.
Robinson, all day.
Really?
Oh, yeah. He's a fighter.
Battles. All right. On that note, Steven, thank you for producing.
Hold up. Brian Robinson's on a bye.
Oh, shit.
Don't listen.
Shit.
Don't do that. Don't do that. Don't listen to Braggs. We have a super chat before we go.
Oh, yeah. And we'll stay on all night.
He does this every week.
We'll stay on all night if more supers come in. Sang, Ray, Kim, good to see you. Thank you. Hot take, fire Flus, hire Sean Payton. We're not doing that. The Flus is here. KT, you want to bring Seth back. Hey, this is the second time on the show. Man is
KT, I love you, man or woman. Gender neutral way, I love you.
We didn't even get to talk below deck.
Oh my God! Really?
Is that Siegfried?
Which one?
Where's the lions? The tigers.
20 years forward, there it is.
Is he the one that got eaten by the tiger?
I don't remember.
They didn't get eaten. I think it was a bite.
Mauled.
We didn't even get to talk about below deck.
Where's below deck?
Oh,
Bravo shows. This man is the Bravo man. You know what, Mark? Don't judge me and my wife for the shows we watch on Monday nights.
You'll love this. You'll love this.
I'm ready.
One of the housewives' husbands is a coach of the University of Utah. It's like the number 2 guy, like head assistant. He was the DB, the great DB for the Bears. He trained him. Sharif Shah.
Okay.
Who by the way had a big win against USC, and he is a house husband. So I get to hang out with him. It's fun talking sports.
It's a big
His
deal.
brother played in the NFL and changed his name to Kareem Abdul-Jabbar. Underrated data point.
That is an underrated data point. Didn't really follow it, but I completely believe it to be important.
USC Utah.
Yeah. All right.
Go Blue.
Go Blue.
Go another hour, Mark.
You want to go
Who's
another
going to win the college championship? By the way, can Ohio State lose 2 games in a row? Fucking impossible. You heard it here. Ohio State beats Georgia. That is a fishy-ass line. When was the last time Ohio State lost 2 in a row, Steve?
I have no idea.
You guys weren't born.
I'm rooting for C.J. Stroud. Come on. We need to help our draft
Ohio State
status.
beats Georgia. Money line.
The better the
year.
quarterbacks do, the better for the Bears.
Oh, by the way, I did forget my
Ohio
other
State
my other
laptop
can I
on
tell
his
you my
head.
can I, for real? Can I tell you my other Larry David moment?
Oh man, I got to
Just real fast, real fast, Steven. My bad. I just got to tell you real quick. So I come home last night from the Bulls game, right? I'm in a new apartment, right? And I know that I've got, if you check out my Twitter at the Carm, I've got a video out of all the products that I had coming to me. So I knew that I had like T-shirts and hoodies. This hoodie that I'm wearing right now was in the.
Love that hoodie.
It's a solid hoodie. Was in the storage facility. So I asked a dude in the lobby because I'm like, do you know what the code is to get into where the packages are delivered? Dude tells me the code. So I go in, I get my stuff, and I picked I come out of there. I've got like 4 things that I hadn't picked up. This morning, their email comes out from the thing. Hey, we regret to inform you that there was a break-in in the package room, and do not give the code out to anyone. So this person that I saw in the lobby definitely thinks I'm a thief. But I got my stuff, and I would not be wearing this without my dude in the lobby last night at 11 o'clock. So whoever you are,
guy in the lobby,
thank you. And it wasn't me who was there at 4 a.m. taking all the other things out of the room, which hopefully I will never have anything like that happen where I'm living again, because I need my packages. But anyway, great job.
Thank you.
Fantastic.
Appreciate
Brags.
Nice meeting you, Seth.
Yes, brother.
We'll be continuing the show on the sidewalk,
passion.
and we look forward to seeing you next time. Bears After Dark, 6:30.
Greg is freaking awesome, by the way.
He is 6:30 Thursday nights, and we'll miss you on Sunday, man. No pre and post. Bye week is here, but back rocking with the Bears on Monday at noon. Have a great rest of your night. Thanks for watching CHGO. Hit that subscribe button. Hit the like button.
Thanks for having the sack.
We'll see.
Bear down.
Bear down. See you next time.